Previously on Big Brother International Season 3, after a surprise double eviction, B. Marie was evicted from the house for good while Martino was the second casualty of the night. However, Martino got to enter the secret assassin hideout where he got to make some mischievous decisions, such as giving Telly a disadvantage in the Nominator challenge, and also being the secret assassin. With Crystal winning her third challenge this season, she nominated Carmen and Telly as two simple nominations. Then, Martino nominated Mario in secret to shake up the game after he felt like he was part of his blind side. Despite this move, Mario won safety for himself, sealing the fate of either Carmen or Telly. After quite an emotional night for the two nominees, the Majority Alliance decided it was Telly's time to go as the bigger wildcard. But, the eviction lights turned red, and Big Brother told Telly to prepare for a redemption challenge. With Telly competing against Martino in an endurance, will she re-enter the game after being evicted just earlier? Or, will Martino get back in the game and get his revenge? Plus, who else will be evicted? Find out today.
This is a summary and recap of Big Brother International Season 3, Episode 10, Night 18. It's time for the redemption challenge between Telly and Martino, the two previous evictees. In this endurance-styled challenge, the goal is to stay on a moving wall that will drag you downwards. The last player on their wall will return to the game. The other will be evicted for good. With that, the challenge begins and both struggle right away. Telly eventually gets the hang of it, but Martino continues to struggle as he tries to keep up with the wall. Telly almost falls off the wall after missing the pegs with her feet, but she saves herself and continues climbing. After an hour of struggling, Martino gives in and falls to the floor, making Telly the winner of this redemption challenge. As a result, Telly jumps off and hugs Martino, praising him for his great effort in this challenge. Martino says goodbye to her and tells her to tell everyone else that he was the secret assassin last round. She says she will, and off Martino goes. During the hour of the challenge, the other houseguests have been sitting in the eviction room the entire time while the lights were still red. They finally turn back to normal and a lot of people are tired but find the urge to stand up. Big Brother lets them all know they can head to the upstairs bedroom bookshelf as someone is waiting there. They all head up, excited to see who it is. Once everyone gets there, the shelf slowly opens, and out comes Telly. Many people smile and Carmen instantly hugs her. Some others aren't too happy. Everyone asks Telly what happened, and she explains she beat Martino in the redemption challenge, leaving him evicted for good. Crystal then asks if she knows anything else, and Telly brings up he was the secret assassin. He asked her to let everyone know. Mario smirks and looks into the camera and thanks Martino out loud, assuming the information is true. After everyone finishes questioning Telly, Telly goes to grab some water and Sammy chats with her. Telly lets him know she feels awkward around everyone after getting out 7-3. Sammy notes that there seem to be two sides, and she's technically on Carmen's side while Roddy has his own side. He then says that he feels like there's also a middle ground that consists of Pascal, Florence, Cassandra, and Hannah. Telly finds this interesting since all four of them would have a reason to keep Carmen over her. Plus, Cassandra at one point was supposedly working with Roddy. While Telly's back in the house, some people still don't trust her. Pascal and Drake discuss how Telly could have lied about the secret assassin being Martino to hide her own tracks. However, Pascal also doesn't understand why she would say it was Martino if it means more to own up to being the assassin. Crystal, Florence, and Cassandra also discussed the Telly situation, and Crystal specifically says she doubts Martino was the secret assassin because he wouldn't put up his own previous ally if he knew he was going to get a chance to come back to the game. Cassandra doesn't state an opinion on that and rather says she's just glad Telly came back over Martino after he threw his game in the mud. Cassandra later talks to Florence and tells him how connected she is to him and how disconnected she feels from Crystal. She didn't get great vibes from their conversation earlier. Florence agrees and states they shouldn't trust her too much. Later, Mario talked to Crystal and also states Telly is likely lying about Martino being the last secret assassin. He feels like Telly is trying to protect her own alliance. Crystal agrees and says they should continue focusing on taking out Carmen and Charlie with Telly as a good pawn figure now. But, Mario thinks it makes more sense for them to shift their targets to Florence, Charlie, and Cassandra as those three seem to be the best positioned in the house. Crystal doesn't see why they should target Florence and Cassandra, but she agrees with the move to take Charlie out of the game. Before going to bed, Hannah brings Cassandra and Florence with her to the bedroom while everyone else is downstairs. She tells them she feels like they are in a middle position at the moment alongside Drake. She feels like there's currently a war between Carmen, Charlie, and Telly up against Mario, Crystal, and Roddy. Sammy and Ray seem to be on side with Mario, Crystal, and Roddy. Florence agrees with this thought and says they need to balance the two sides out, so ideally either Mario, Crystal, Roddy, Sammy, or Ray should go this round. Day 19 is here, and it's time for the Nominator Challenge. In this challenge, by random draw each round, there will be a 1 versus 1 versus 1 matchup, where players must swim across a body of water and sit in the end chair before the other two. Whoever does will stay in the game. If someone just won a round, they will not compete in the next round unless it's the final round. The last standing player will win the Nominator Challenge. In round 1, Drake, Crystal, and Sammy competed. Drake ended up moving on as he made it first. In round 2, Telly, Carmen, and Pascal competed, and in the end, Pascal moved on. In round 3, it was Mario against Cassandra against Hannah. Mario beasted through the water and won the round. In round 4, Drake, Roddy, and Florence competed against each other, and in that matchup, Drake won once again. In round 5, Charlie, Mario, and Ray competed, with Mario winning a second time as well. This left Mario, Drake, and Pascal to compete against each other in a final race, and in the end, Mario finished first and won the Nominator Challenge. Based on previous conversations, Mario already knew going in what he would do. He puts up Florence, Cassandra, and Charlie as the three people who seem to be in the best position in the house. He thinks Florence and Cassandra are playing the middle, and Charlie has a very good social game as they are tight with people like Telly and Carmen, and then Florence, Cassandra, and Pascal. As nominations were final, most people were stunned by the nominations, including Cassandra, who gave Mario a strange look. Mario straight up tells her he has been questioning her loyalty recently as she's always with Florence. Cassandra cannot believe she got nominated a second time now for essentially the same reason as before. She denies having any sort of allegiance to Florence and claims he made a huge mistake since it's extremely likely it's her going home tonight. Roddy and Crystal later chat at the bar about how easy it is now to take out Florence, someone who seems to be well positioned. Crystal's main concern right now is that they won't have the votes since she senses Ray and Sammy will vote Charlie out as they have discussed taking them, Telly, and Carmen out for many rounds now. Pascal, Drake, and Florence discuss the vote as they are concerned for Florence's safety. Pascal says they have to think logically. It makes more sense to evict Cassandra at this point because Charlie is not only a bigger shield, but also a stronger person to have as an ally. Pascal knows Charlie will play ruthless against Crystal, Roddy, and Mario, as they hate each other right now in the game. Florence isn't sure if it's right to vote out Cassandra because she's more loyal to them than Charlie. He says it's better to cut Charlie away from Carmen and Telly. Mario and Crystal later chat, and Crystal says that although she sees Florence as the biggest threat on the block, Charlie ultimately seems like they'll get more votes at the eviction. Mario nods and lets her know to do whatever she thinks is right for her game. Before the eviction, Florence has a chat with Hannah and lets her know that Pascal and Drake are thinking of evicting Cassandra tonight. Hannah tells him not to follow along as they need Cassandra for their games. She feels like it makes more sense to keep someone who is 100% with you, rather than someone who is working closer with some other people. In this case, Charlie is too close to Carmen and Telly and will never flip on them, unlike Cassandra, who has been nominated by both factions. Night 19 arrives, and it's time for the eviction ceremony where either Florence, Cassandra, or Charlie would be evicted. During the discussion, Charlie mentions how hurt they felt getting put up. Mario shrugs and says it's just a game and that they aren't on the same side right now. Cassandra then puts her finger up and asks Mario if that's the case, why was she put up? Mario explains he already told her privately what the reason was and doesn't wish to expose it to everyone. Cassandra calls him out for not making any sense with his nomination of her, so he flat out says to everyone he questions her true loyalty as she's always around Charlie and Florence, who he doesn't remember ever working with. Carmen tells Mario she finds him hypocritical for targeting someone who is talking to various people when this whole game is about socializing with various people. Mario says he doesn't recall stating that specifically and says he's not claiming that at all. Carmen and Mario continue going back and forth, arguing over who is right and wrong. It eventually comes to a stop, and the vote then commences. With everyone eventually voting, the results come in and are revealed. With only one vote, Florence is safe. That means either Cassandra or Charlie are about to be evicted. One of them received 4 votes, and the other received 7. With 7 votes, Charlie has been evicted. Cassandra breathes out as Charlie gets up. They run to hug Carmen and Telly and calls them their besties. Charlie then quickly hugs Cassandra and Florence and wishes them luck. Charlie then heads out of the room and walks towards the front doors. However, they are stopped as the ATM machine lights up next to them. They head over there and find out they can select the next secret assassin. They talk to themselves and feel like it would be super obvious if they picked Telly or Carmen and would likely keep the target on them. They feel like it would make more sense to pin the target on someone new. They select their assassin and head out. See you all for episode 11.
Next time on Big Brother International. As houseguests receive another house task, it abruptly comes to an end as one houseguest almost burns the house down. Plus, as the power trio become more and more feared, will Sammy and Ray finally break away from them? Or will they remain strong with them? Anything can happen on BBI, so stay tuned on Saturday for one of the bigger blindsides of the season.
Charlie's final thoughts. One of Charlie's wishes the last year was to get back on reality TV and fully finish it without it getting cancelled. They successfully got through BBI 3 All-Stars and is proud of the way they played. They are content with getting 13th as this game can be very tough, especially as the numbers dwindle. At this rate, they hope Carmen wins the whole thing, but they feel like it'll end up being Florence as he seems like a likable player right now who can easily reach the final 3.